Hi friends, welcome back. It is DJ Montague. Today we're talking about Necromancer real quick from a 1 to 20 easily accessible guide that will help you build your character up and get ready to start farming once you're at level 20 for the legendaries you're looking for. Now let's get right into it because I want to show you this build real quick and then also give you some tips for once you get to level 20. Your first two skill points are going to go into Bone Splinter here. Of the 4 options that you have, Bone Splinter 1 gets you a lot more essence and 2 does the most damage of the 4 options. Obviously later on this changes for what you want your builder to be, but Bone Splinters is the easiest option to start. Also with your skeletons, the first chance you're able to use option 1 for additional skirmishers because it's free increased damage based on how many corpses will be around, and because you don't have corpse explosion yet, this is a great way to keep your corpse economy in check by having just more skeletons around. And also making sure that if you didn't know, you can cast on a corpse if you have max skeletons to heal your skeletons, which is super important because they have made skeletons more vulnerable for this particular patch. So next up, after we get there, we're going to get to Blight. This should be at level 5. Then Blight slow afterward. Next, we're taking Supernatural Blight because 15% increased damage from you and your monsters is going to equal more than something that like Sever could do at this juncture. One thing I would touch on is Hewed Flesh is really good for later. Blight has a lucky chance hit of 40%, and that is for each tick. That is pretty strong, which would mean if you were to put 1 point into Hewed Flesh, you would have about a 1% chance, so a 1 in 100 to hit and get an extra corpse. Not good now. Once you're getting boosts to lucky hit, this could possibly be a choice for endgame builds. Generating more corpses is going to be huge. We'll probably just put another point into Blight. Make your Blight do more damage. Never a bad thing. Next up is the choice between Corpse Explosion, Blood Mist, and Bone Prison. So it's going to be Corpse Explosion. We're also going to take 2 more points into Corpse Explosion to get the Darkness Dot. Now, from what I understand and what we were looking at previously, the Blighted Corpse Explosion did stack for a time. I'm not sure if they've nerfed it for the next version of Diablo 4's early access, but you never know. So if this is an option and you can stack them, you're using corpses that you don't need to use for skeleton warriors on corpse explosions, because corpse economy doesn't affect essence. We want to keep essence and corpse economy as a priority. So right around at this point, you'll be at level 10. We're going to keep putting points into Corpse Explosion and Blight for ease of access, just extra damage in an AoE. Generally, you're not fighting that many elite packs or bosses at this juncture, at least bosses that are even that difficult. And also, you're going to have skeletons and the like. A lot of the times, the bosses will kill your skeletons. So you could go into Thorns here if you were going that direction. But generally, you just want to keep consistent damage up since, again, skeletons are weaker. So 2 points into Blight, get that to level 4. That is 103% damage over 6 seconds, and the first initial hit does 40% damage. So my personal choice at this point is either go into Iron Maiden and just get the second point, you don't go in for the third, or more points into either Corpse Explosion or Blight. Now, I'm probably going to go Iron Maiden, take these 2 points because it makes Iron Maiden free and then gives you essence for every person you hit with Iron Maiden. As an essence regen is awesome because this skill is free and has no cooldown. This can only happen on the same monster once every 10 seconds, so you're not just spamming it on a pack trying to get your essence back. Your choice for Shadow Mages is generally going to be that Shadow Mages fire an additional bolt for every 6th attack. It's just the ease of access, extra damage. What is it? 16% of the time? Something like that. I don't know the math behind that. But the other option, which is has a chance to stun, is cool and does work on some bosses. If you're having some trouble staying alive or you feel like you're taking too much damage, this could be your other option. But also right now in Diablo, it's generally not good to sacrifice your mages or your skeletons just because it's easy to have them up and is good for corpse economy. Later on, we'll probably see more builds happen where you sacrifice all of your pets for your solo potential, but right now it's just not worth it. Next option for me, putting some more points into Corpse Explosion, get some extra damage. That increases the damage of Blighted Corpse Explosion as well. So have some juice there. Once you get to this next tier, you can actually opt out of taking any of these skills. So Corpse Tendrils is okay for some clear on monsters if you can get a corpse down fast enough. You can then bring all the monsters in with Corpse Tendrils and then use Corpse Explosion on the same corpse. Corpse Tendrils does not consume the corpse, which is good to know. If you were to go a Corpse Tendrils route, just real quick, I'll show you second point, and then you make the enemies vulnerable. Generally, you don't need the Blood Orb because you're at range for most of this build anyway, other than when you're spamming Bone Splinters on bosses. For this instance, I might take some points and put them into extra damage or mobility. Now, we're not going to be able to get to ultimates here, so you're reaching kind of the end of the build. This is just kind of where it ends up. Personally, to finish out my level 20, I'll be taking 3 into Reaper's Pursuit as I continue, and then we're almost level 20 here, so we don't really need to continue to talk about it because the next few points won't affect your build. You'll be getting 2 more points from Shrines of Lilith and other stuff, Renown, during Act 1. You'll end up being at 22 points. I think it was 27 during the beta, so 5 levels minus equals 22. Real quick to let you guys know a couple things about what you're doing after you get to level 20. Here is a interactive map that shows you where everything is, and I'll have both these websites in the description here so you could look at them yourselves and kind of make some adjustments if you need to. I think D4 Planner is probably one of the coolest D4 builds because you could also do inventory over here, which we can do a little bit at the end here. But also, you've got the whole interactive map here on Map Genie. Anyways, Ashava spawns all the way to the east, like full east. Ashava the Pestilent gonna be here in the Crucible. You start here in the Desolate Highlands and work your way up to Kyovashad in the middle. Once you get to level 20, you want to get the best gear you possibly can, and there will be 2 areas to do so. Kor Dragan is going to drop probably the highest item level gear that you can have. That's what a lot of people were farming later on. Also, right above Malnok, there is this area to the northeast. This area, those monsters are higher level than what is usually available around it. Monsters in general areas will scale to your level, but in certain places they are just at a consistent level and usually going to be higher. So this is one of those areas that's above level 20. Kor Dragan in the northwest of the map is also going to be higher than level 20, probably I think around level 28. So when those events are available, you would like to do those. There's also a level 30 monster in Pallid Glade, but we're not going to be really farming that one because it's probably going to drop stuff that's way beyond our item level now, since it went down from level 25 to level 20. So those are going to be 2 good places to get some farm during events. Northeast of Malnok and Kor Dragan Barracks, always good choices. After you do those events, what are you looking at doing in the meantime? Well, the easiest thing to do is farm the gambling currency. And I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head, but every event that you do not only gives you items, but it also gives you gambling materials. Now the gambler is right here, Lisbeth in Kyovashad. My recommendation is walking outside of Kyovashad to this event right here. It's close to town and easy to reset your instance by walking in town or TPing into town and then walking through your TP again to go back outside here once you have cleared this event. Doing this event repeatedly gives you a lot of gambling material, and then you go to Lisbeth. If you are looking for offensive aspects, you roll for gloves. You don't roll on like amulets, which are really expensive because you run the risk of running out of gambling materials very quickly without getting a legendary, or weapons. You roll them on gloves. They're cheap, or they were at least. They were 50 of the gambling currency before. That could very well have changed, but they were the best option for gambling for offensive aspects. So I would recommend doing this event, getting gloves every time you go back to Lisbeth until you're good on whatever build you're looking to go for. And while we're talking about builds, to talk really quickly about some aspects that are really strong at baseline that work for almost every build. This first option here that works with every build, rapid aspect, basic skills grants 23 to 33 attack speed. You could put that on a ring and just have more resource generation for every build you have. A lot of builds, especially ones that are just going to level 20, this is going to be such a great aspect. Highly recommend. Another one, skills deal up to 24 to 34% increased damage based on your primary resource when cast. Staying at high resource, these two combined, making it so you have a better resource builder and also doing more damage with your skills in general. Another one that's fantastic and generally used all purpose aspect of the expectant, which is attacking enemies with basic skill, increases the damage of your next core skill by 10 to 50%. Now, this is super good for having bone splinters and also having basic skills give increased attack speed. Now, there are some trap ones. Critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed by 20 to 40% for 3 seconds. This is great if you're spamming core skills in a bone necro build that regenerates essence quickly. Again, you're not going to get that early and have it benefit you a lot because crit rate is very, very rare to come by. You could build for it and it will help you out in the long run, but it's early game. You don't want to worry too much about crit rate. I think the max I got up to during the beta was 32%, which was great, and you can absolutely run a crit build through that, but it was just very, very, very difficult. Took me about 30 to 40 hours of farming on my necro to get that amount of crit rate. Possibly target farm or another one you're possibly looking for is the thorns. Damage dealt has a 20 to 40% chance to deal damage to all enemies around you. This counts for your pets as well. So if your pets are getting blasted and you have more thorns through the build, you respec for thorns, your pets could end up doing a boatload of damage, in which you would change over to increase the amount of thorns that defenders inherit from you. Another one, if you find by a miracle, is each time one of your summoning minions deals damage to an enemy, they gain 10 to 14% attack speed for 3 seconds, up to 42%. That's pretty huge. Just in general, your pets are going to be attacking a lot. If you find this legendary aspect, you could make a pseudo pet build, but generally what's going to happen in the beta is damage disparity starts to get very, very, very large at level 20. So you'll see a lot of people doing like a 900 damage hit or 1,000 damage hit, and then you'll see some other people that are hitting for 9 to 10,000. It really depends on how comfortable you are with creating builds and identifying what is completely overpowered and completely ridiculous in that time frame. Rogues being a prime example of being incredibly strong during these early levels. And we don't really have a gauge for how they're going to be later on, but I feel like rogues are going to be one of those classes that lasts throughout the entire duration of Diablo as being a good class. They just have like all the tools, and their legendaries so far just give them all the benefits in the world. So this is just kind of an idea for you to start your Diablo 4 journey and your server slam experience, getting through the first 20 levels quickly, being able to identify quickly what legendaries you want to keep and affixes that are super good as a general build. And then you can go further on and look into your blood build. You can go look further into your corpse explosion build, or as a popcorn build if it's still available. Or if you're looking to do shadow damage, there is a shadow damage build. It's not as good, but hey, you live your life. Don't let me tell you what to do. And then also the Bone Spear build, which is probably the second best build that Necro had in the beta and wasn't broken because of Blood Mist. So friends, thank you so much for checking out this video. I'll be streaming live on Twitch pretty much every day up until the server slam starts, and then we'll be playing during the D4 server slam. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'm here to answer all questions I possibly can. If you have any questions about a particular aspect or my opinion on certain legendaries, I'm here to help. Thank you, friends. Have a wonderful day.